I found my heart medication had been replaced with sugar pills. Same bottle, same label, same everything. But after 42 years as a pharmacist, I know the difference between metoprolol and a placebo. Someone wanted me dead slowly, quietly, from a heart attack that would look completely natural. At 67 years old, living alone in Phoenix, I had exactly 2 people with regular access to my medicine cabinet. My daughter Karen and her husband Marcus. Before I tell you what happened next, drop a comment below. Where are you watching this from? And what time is it there right now? I want to know how far this story is reaching. The discovery happened on a Tuesday morning, the kind of Arizona morning where the sun already burns at 7 a.m. and the air smells like dust and creosote. I was sorting my weekly pill organizer, a ritual I'd kept since my bypass surgery 3 years ago. Metoprolol for blood pressure, lisinopril for the heart, baby aspirin, the usual cocktail that keeps a man my age breathing. I picked up the metoprolol bottle and something felt wrong. Not heavy wrong or light wrong, just wrong. The pills looked right at first glance. Same white tablets, same size, same shape. But when I held one up to the light, I noticed it. The coating was too matte. Real metoprolol has a slight sheen, a pharmaceutical gloss that comes from the manufacturing process. These were chalky, dull. I bit one in half. Metoprolol tastes bitter, almost metallic. This tasted like nothing, like compressed powder. Like someone had gone to a supplement store, bought empty capsule-making supplies, and created convincing fakes. My hands started shaking, but not from fear, from recognition. I'd spent 4 decades behind a pharmacy counter. I'd caught drug counterfeiting operations, identified pill mills, testified in court about medication fraud. I knew exactly what I was looking at. Someone had replaced my heart medication with placebos. Without metoprolol, my blood pressure would spike. My heart would work too hard. Within weeks, maybe a month, I'd have another cardiac event. And this time, at 67, living alone, I probably wouldn't survive. I sat at my kitchen table and stared at the fake pills scattered across the surface. Who had access to my medications? Who would benefit from my death? The list was short and painful. My daughter Karen visited every Sunday. She always arrived around 10, brought groceries, helped clean. A good daughter, everyone said, so attentive to her aging father. She had keys to my house, knew my medication schedule, often refilled my pill organizer while I watched football. Her husband Marcus came with her sometimes. He'd been unemployed for 18 months, ever since his construction company went under. They'd been struggling. I knew that. Karen had mentioned money problems, hinted at debts. I'd already given them $50,000 from my retirement account to help with their mortgage. But my house was worth $400,000. My retirement accounts totaled nearly $700,000 more. My life insurance policy paid out $250,000. Over $1 million, waiting for my death. I wanted to call Karen immediately, to demand an explanation. But I stopped myself. I'd learned something in 42 years of pharmacy work. You don't confront a suspected criminal. You gather evidence. You document. You build an airtight case. I photographed every fake pill, measured them with my old pharmaceutical scale, weighed them against real metoprolol tablets I had from an older prescription. The fakes were 2 milligrams lighter. Same size, same color, but cheaper binding agents. Amateur work, but convincing enough to fool someone who wasn't a pharmacist. Then I did something I'd never done before. I called in a favor from my former colleague at the Arizona Poison Control Center. Asked him to run a quiet analysis. 3 days later, he called back. "Walter," he said, his voice careful. "Those pills contain microcrystalline cellulose, magnesium stearate, and trace amounts of baby powder. They're sophisticated placebos. Where did you get them?" "From my medicine cabinet." He went quiet. Then, "Are you safe?" "I don't know," I said. "I don't know anymore." That night, I installed cameras, small ones, the kind that look like electrical outlets or smoke detectors. One in the kitchen facing the medicine cabinet, one in the living room, one in my bedroom overlooking the nightstand where I kept my emergency nitroglycerin. I ordered real metoprolol from a mail-order pharmacy under a different name, shipped to a P.O. box. I kept taking the fake pills in front of Karen, letting her see me swallow them every Sunday. But secretly, I took my real medication morning and night. If someone wanted me dead, they'd have to wait longer than they planned. The following Sunday, Karen arrived at her usual time. She looked tired, dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed. Marcus wasn't with her. "Hey, Dad," she said, setting grocery bags on the counter. "How are you feeling?" "A little tired," I said. "My heart's been racing sometimes." Her eyes flickered to my pill organizer on the counter. "Have you been taking your medication?" "Every single pill," I said. I watched her face. Something shifted. Relief? Anticipation? Good. "You need to stay on schedule." She started unpacking groceries, putting them away in the wrong places like she always did. Canned beans with the pasta, cereal with the spices, details only a parent notices. "Karen," I said, "how are things with you and Marcus?" Her hands stilled. "Fine. Why? You seem stressed." "Just work stuff." She turned away. "I'm going to clean the bathroom." She disappeared down the hall. I sat in the living room, watching the football game I didn't care about, listening to her footsteps. She went to the bathroom first. Then I heard her bedroom door open. My bedroom. 10 minutes later, she came back. Cheeks slightly flushed. "Bathroom's done. I organized your nightstand, too. It was getting cluttered." "Thank you, sweetheart." After she left, I checked the camera footage. My daughter had opened my nightstand drawer, counted my nitroglycerin tablets, and taken photos of my medication bottles with her phone. Then she'd pulled out a small plastic bag, removed 2 pills, and placed them in my metoprolol bottle. More fakes. She was topping off the supply, making sure I had enough placebos to keep not taking my heart medication. I sat in the dark for a long time after that. My daughter was trying to kill me. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Not about the will. Not about the house. About documentation. I needed everything recorded, witnessed, time-stamped. Gerald had handled my affairs for 20 years. He listened without interrupting. "Walter," he said when I finished, "this is attempted murder. You need to call the police." "Not yet. I need to know why. I need to understand what happened to my daughter." Gerald sighed. "Do you have the video footage backed up?" 3 separate cloud accounts, plus a physical drive in my safe deposit box. "Good. What do you want to do?" "I want to give her a chance to stop, to tell me the truth, before I destroy her life forever." He was quiet for a moment. "You have 2 weeks. After that, I'm calling the police myself." I agreed. That week, I did research. I pulled Karen's credit report through a service I shouldn't have had access to, but did. What I found made my chest tight, and not from any medication. Karen and Marcus owed $340,000. Credit cards maxed out, second mortgage on their house, personal loans from predatory lenders at 23% interest. And buried in the records, a $170,000 judgment from something called Pinnacle Capital Recovery. I knew that name. It had been in the news. A lending front accused of connections to organized crime, violent collection methods, people disappearing when they couldn't pay. My daughter was drowning in debt to dangerous people, and she'd decided that killing her father was easier than asking him for help. The following Sunday, Karen didn't come alone. Marcus was with her, which was unusual. He normally avoided my house, claimed the Arizona heat bothered him. Today he was all smiles, helping carry groceries, asking about my golf game. They stayed for lunch. Karen made sandwiches while Marcus sat with me in the living room, talking about nothing. Sports, weather, the new Mexican restaurant downtown. Then he said it. "Walter, Karen and I have been talking. You're getting older. This house is big for one person. Have you thought about a living situation that might be safer for you?" I kept my face neutral. "What kind of situation?" "There are nice communities near us in Scottsdale. Assisted living, but upscale. You'd have your own apartment, nurses on call, no more worrying about yard work or home repairs." "And what would happen to this house?" "Well," Marcus glanced at Karen, who'd stopped moving in the kitchen, "we could sell it. Use the money to pay for your care. It would take that burden off you." "I see. You'd be closer to us," Karen added quickly. "We could visit every day instead of just Sundays." I looked at my daughter. At the woman I'd raised alone after her mother died, who I'd put through college, whose wedding I'd paid for, whose mortgage I'd helped cover. She couldn't meet my eyes. Let me think about it, I said. After they left, I checked the cameras. While Karen made sandwiches, Marcus had slipped into my bedroom. He'd opened my nightstand, counted the nitroglycerin again, and taken photos of all my prescription bottles. Then he'd done something Karen hadn't. He'd picked up my living will and photographed every page. They weren't just waiting for me to die. They were planning for it, making sure they knew exactly how to access everything the moment my heart gave out. I called Gerald that afternoon. Change of plans, I said. I want to set up an irrevocable trust. Everything, the house, the accounts, the investments, all of it goes into the trust immediately. That will take time to set up properly. How much time? 2 weeks minimum for something this complex. I have 1 week, I said. Make it work. Gerald paused. What are you going to do in the meantime? I'm going to find out how far my daughter is willing to go. Tuesday morning, I called Karen. I didn't feel well, I told her. Chest pains, shortness of breath. Could she come over? She arrived in 40 minutes, faster than she'd ever come before. Her face was tight with something that might have been concern or might have been anticipation. Dad, we should call an ambulance. No, I'm feeling better now. Just scared myself. I let my voice shake. Karen, I've been thinking about what Marcus said, about the assisted living. Her eyes brightened. Really? I'm 67. I had bypass surgery 3 years ago. Maybe it's time to be realistic about my future. I watched emotions flicker across her face. Hope, guilt, calculation. We just want what's best for you, Dad. I know you do, sweetheart. I know. That night, I called my old friend from the pharmacy board. Eileen had spent 30 years tracking pharmaceutical crimes. She'd helped the DEA bust pill mills, testified against corrupt doctors, built cases that put people away for decades. Walter, she said when I told her everything, you need law enforcement involved. I need to understand first. Who sells pills like this? Where would someone get professional-grade placebos? She thought for a moment. Dark web. There are suppliers who make fake medications for insurance fraud, pill substitution schemes, that kind of thing. If someone ordered enough, they could get convincing fakes within a week. Can you trace an order? Not without law enforcement resources. She paused. But I can tell you this. Whoever made those pills knew what they were doing. This wasn't some amateur mixing powder in their garage. This was professional. Professional. My daughter had hired someone to make fake pills that would slowly kill me. Friday came. Gerald called to say the trust paperwork was ready. I drove to his office, signed everything, watched him notarize each page. My house, my accounts, my investments. All of it now belonged to the Walter Chen Irrevocable Family Trust. If I died tomorrow, Karen would inherit nothing directly. Everything would be distributed according to the trust terms, which required a full investigation into the circumstances of my death before any assets could be released. It wasn't perfect protection, but it was something. That Sunday, Karen and Marcus arrived together again. They seemed nervous, agitated. Marcus kept checking his phone. Karen's hands wouldn't stay still. Dad, Karen said as soon as they walked in. Have you made any decisions about the assisted living? Actually, I have. I'm not going. Her face fell. But you said, I've been feeling better lately. Stronger. I think I have a few more good years in this house. Marcus stepped forward. Walter, be reasonable. You're not getting any younger. What happens if you have another heart attack and you're here alone? I looked at him steadily. Then I die, I suppose. Alone. In my house. Which I own. Which will pass to my estate according to my wishes. The room went very quiet. Your wishes, Karen repeated. What does that mean? I've made some changes to my legal documents. Updated the will, created a trust. Gerald says it's much more efficient this way. Marcus's face had gone red. What kind of changes? Nothing that affects you, I said. Unless something happens to me under suspicious circumstances. Then things get complicated. Karen's voice cracked. Dad, what are you talking about? I'm talking about my heart medication. I'm talking about the pills in my cabinet that aren't actually metoprolol. I'm talking about the camera in my bedroom that recorded you photographing my prescription bottles. I'm talking about the $340,000 you owe to very dangerous people. Karen sat down hard on the couch. Her face had gone white. Marcus stood frozen, his jaw working. He started. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said. You decided that killing me slowly, making it look like a natural heart attack, was easier than asking me for help. You've been replacing my medication for how long? 3 months? 4? Karen was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. She wouldn't look at me. I'm going to give you one chance, I said. One chance to tell me the truth. All of it. And then we're going to decide together what happens next. The story came out in pieces, broken by Karen's sobs and Marcus's defensive interruptions. They'd borrowed money from Marcus's construction company 2 years ago. When the company failed, they couldn't pay it back. The interest compounded. They refinanced their house, maxed out credit cards, took personal loans. Each month, they fell further behind. Then Pinnacle Capital bought their debt. The collectors started showing up at Karen's office. Marcus got threatening phone calls at 2 a.m. Someone slashed their car tires. A dead cat appeared on their porch. We were scared, Karen whispered. They said they would hurt us. They said they knew where we lived, where I worked, where our kids went to school. So you decided to kill me instead. It wasn't like that. Karen's voice broke. Marcus said if you got sick, really sick, you'd agree to move to assisted living. We could sell the house, use the money to pay off Pinnacle. You'd be safe, we'd be safe. But I wasn't getting sick fast enough, I said, because my heart medication was working. So you started replacing it. We didn't want you to die. Marcus finally spoke, his voice desperate. We just needed you to be incapacitated enough to sign power of attorney. Karen would manage your finances, sell the house, pay off the debt. You'd go to a nursing home, live out your years comfortably, while stealing everything I'd worked my entire life for. It wasn't stealing. Karen looked up, her face streaked with tears. You would have given it to us eventually anyway. We're your only family. We just needed it sooner. I stared at my daughter, at the child I'd raised, the woman I'd loved unconditionally for 37 years. She genuinely believed what she was saying. She'd convinced herself that murdering me slowly was a reasonable financial strategy. I have something to show you, I said. I pulled out my phone and played the video from my bedroom camera. Karen watching herself open my nightstand, remove pills, add fakes, take photos. She made a sound like an animal in pain. This is attempted murder, I said. First degree, premeditated. In Arizona, that's 25 years to life. Dad, please. But I also know about Pinnacle Capital. I know they're under federal investigation. I know people have died because of them. And I know you were desperate. Karen looked up, a flicker of hope in her eyes. So here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to give me everything you have on Pinnacle. Every threatening message, every collector's name, every piece of evidence. I'm going to turn it over to the FBI, along with a statement about how they pressured you into this situation. And then you're going to turn yourselves in. Voluntarily. You're going to plead guilty to whatever charges the prosecutor offers. And you're going to cooperate fully with the investigation into Pinnacle. Marcus stood up. That's insane. We'll go to prison. Yes, I said. You will, but less prison than if I simply turn over this video and let the prosecution decide. Karen, you're my daughter. I'm giving you a chance to take responsibility instead of having it forced on you. Karen was shaking. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to. I didn't know what else to do. I know, I said. And that's why I'm not letting you rot in prison for 25 years. But you have to face consequences. Both of you. The next morning, Karen and Marcus turned themselves in to the Phoenix Police Department. I was there, sitting in the waiting room while they were processed. Karen looked back at me once, just before they took her through the security door. She mouthed something. I love you. I nodded but didn't respond. The FBI took the Pinnacle information and ran with it. Within a month, 12 arrests. The organization was dismantled. Several people in Karen's situation came forward with similar stories of coercion and desperation. Gerald handled the legal aftermath. Karen pleaded guilty to attempted elder abuse and medication tampering. The prosecutor, moved by her cooperation with the Pinnacle investigation, recommended 6 years. The judge gave her 4. Marcus got 7. He'd been the one who found the pill supplier, the one who researched my medications, the one who pushed Karen into the scheme. The judge was less sympathetic. I didn't attend the sentencing. 6 months later, I'm sitting on my back patio, watching the sunset paint the Arizona mountains in shades of orange and purple. A golden retriever named Biscuit is lying at my feet, her tail occasionally thumping against the concrete. I adopted her 3 months ago from a rescue shelter. She's terrible at fetch and wonderful at everything else. The house is quiet now. Sundays come and go without visitors. Gerald handles my affairs. A nurse named Patricia comes twice a week to check my blood pressure and make sure I'm taking my real medication. I joined an elder abuse support group, met other people whose children had stolen from them, manipulated them, tried to have them declared incompetent. The stories are eerily similar. Financial pressure, desperation, the gradual erosion of morality when money becomes more important than family. I speak at senior centers now. Warning signs, I tell them. Unusual interest in your finances. Offers to help manage your medications. Pressure to change your living situation. Questions about your will. Trust your instincts, I say. Document everything. And never be afraid to protect yourself, even from the people you love. Last week, I received a letter from Karen, her 4th one. The first 3 are still in my desk drawer, unopened. This one, I decided to read. Dad, she wrote, I don't expect you to forgive me. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive myself. Prison gives you a lot of time to think, and I've thought about that moment in your living room every single day. The look on your face when you realized what I'd done. I'll carry that look with me forever. I was so scared. That's not an excuse. It's just the truth. Pinnacle made us feel like there was no way out. Marcus convinced me this was the only solution. But I'm the one who agreed. I'm the one who replaced your pills with my own hands. I chose my fear over your life. You raised me better than this. I know that now. You worked yourself to exhaustion to give me a good childhood. You paid for my college, my wedding, my mortgage, and I repaid you by trying to steal the years you had left. I'm in therapy now. The prison has a program. I'm learning about the choices I made, about how I let desperation override everything I knew was right. It's hard. It hurts. But it's necessary. I understand if you never want to see me again. I understand if you burn this letter like you probably burned the others. But I need you to know that I love you. I always loved you, even when I was doing something unforgivable. Your daughter, Karen. I folded the letter carefully and placed it with the others. Maybe I'll read them all someday. Maybe I'll visit her eventually. Maybe forgiveness is possible, years from now, after she's served her time and proven that she's changed. Or maybe not. Maybe some breaks can't be fixed. Maybe what she did severed something that can never be repaired. Either way, I'll be here. In my house, with my dog, watching Arizona sunsets, living my life on my terms. People ask me sometimes if I regret turning in my own daughter. The answer is complicated. I regret that it was necessary. I grieve for the relationship we lost, for the trust that died the moment I discovered those fake pills. But I don't regret protecting myself. They say blood is thicker than water, but survival is thicker than blood. When someone is trying to kill you, even someone you love, you have the right to choose yourself. That's not selfish. That's human. Karen made her choice. She chose debt over honesty, fear over family, and I made mine. I chose to live. If you're watching this, if you're elderly and alone and something feels wrong with the people who claim to care for you, trust that feeling. Document everything. Tell someone the law is on your side. There are people who will help. And remember, asking for help isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The only real mistake is staying silent while someone slowly takes your life away. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, or if you know someone who needs to hear it, share it with them. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss true stories like this one. Your support helps these warnings reach the people who need them most. Stay safe out there, and take care of each other.